and welcome to Trevor's Barking Mad channel. Using the phone because it's in my pocket, so I thought let's do it now. Welcome to Trevor's Barking Mad channel. I'm Trevor, this is Barking Mad, roll cinematics. So, it's early in the morning and I thought I'd walk the dogs while the car's having a service before the sun gets too hot. Good idea, I think. So a friend of mine recently bought a pretty high-end EV. And bless her, it's their first one. And I can't think of any other way of saying it. She's afraid to use the rapid charging system. And obviously it's something one needs to conquer. So I said I'd make a video to explain how easy it is. We were out with some friends at the time who don't have EVs, and they said, you know what, we would actually like to hear that and see that. You should do it as one of your vlogs. Well, I never thought anyone would be interested in how you charge up an EV. So hence this vlog on how you charge up an EV. So there's basically three types of chargers. There's your granny charger. That is your 3-pin socket, basically, your 13 amp 3-pin plug. There's fast charging, which is the 7 or 11 kilowatt ACs. That's the typical sort of box you have installed at home, or it's some of the slower ones that you see at Tesco's and at some public charging points. They're handy. Well, it's come into each one what each one does best and how you use them. And then you have the rapids. Now the rapids go from anything from 45 kilowatts up to over 300 kilowatts, especially for Teslas and some of the grid serves out there. So let's go by each one very briefly. So the granny socket, the 3-pin plug. You plug this into your slow charging socket in the car, whether that's the type 2 or in my case the type 1 socket. And you then plug the 3-pin plug directly into the wall. It's not ideal to use a extension lead. Some cars will draw 2.5 kilowatts, some will draw a lot closer to the 3 kilowatt. And if you are leaving it in there for hours on end, indeed you do need to check your socket. There have been some disasters with a high power consumption being taken through a 3-pin socket. So, dodgy. But I know a lot of people do it, especially when they go on holiday. They just plug it in overnight for sort of 12 hours. And most cars will be fairly charged up in that time. Depends on the size of your battery. It will obviously only charge at the rate of 2.5 to 3 kilowatts. It won't actually do 3 kilowatts, so 2.5 to 2.8 kilowatts most probably. Some I do believe round it down to 2 kilowatts. So, but just check your socket. If you have to use an extension lead, then make sure it's a 3 kilowatt lead at least. That's on it, so it doesn't get too hot and be as short as possible. If you're using a fast charger, whether this is a box at home or whether it's a public one, then that's going to charge at whatever it's advertised at, whether it's 7, 11, I believe also 22. It's AC. And you still use your own lead with these, obviously, and into your car socket it will go into the type 1 or type 2 slow charging, as I call it, slow charging socket. Dotty, this way. And then you plug the other end, which is type 2, into your wall box or the public charging outlet. Rapid charging. Rapid chargers have their own lead tethered, and these go from anywhere 45 kilowatts to over 300 kilowatts. The norm has been 50 kilowatts, but that's rapidly improving to 100, 150 kilowatts as the average. There are some that are higher, as I say, but it depends not only on what the charger produces, but what your car accepts. Now, mine's quite an old Nissan. It's 6 years old this year, and it goes up to 50 kilowatts, but I, on Rapids, will easily charge at 46, 48 kilowatts, which is pretty damn good for a 6-year-old car with 70 odd thousand miles on it. My Hyundai Ioniq 28 kilowatt car I had before, that would charge up to 70 kilowatts, and my Tesla would charge up to, I think it was 150, but the highest I ever got out of it was 70. But mine was quite an old 64 plate Tesla Model S. So the wire for the Rapids is always tethered to the actual charger, and you plug this into your fast charging plug in your car. Now, if you're like me, that'll be your CHAdeMO, or on most cars it'll be your full CCS, and I'll come to those two chargers in a moment. So that's the chargers in a very brief description. Now to the car ports. These are the ports for charging in your car. 90 odd %, in fact all bar Nissan Leafs, use a system called CCS. I call this a squashed figure of 8. And basically, the top part is just the AC granny or rapid charging. And then you pull off in your car the bottom cover, which is the DC port. And you'll notice that on a rapid charger, that the entire socket is used. Now it depends on your car's speed for charging, and also the charge you've parked at to charge up from. These go from, the slowest I've seen is a Shell one at 45 kilowatts. And the average seems to be these days more as 100, 150 kilowatts. And Tesla ones and some other ones more in the, when there's a huge bank of chargers, they tend to be high speed, can go over 300. Obviously, if your car will only charge up to 50 kilowatts, then don't go on one that's over 300 kilowatts, because you're taking up that space for someone who might be in a Porsche or Tesla that can utilise that speed, whereas you can't, and you will still only pull 50 kilowatts out of it because that's your car's restriction. So unless you own a Nissan Leaf or a couple of older EVs, which I'll go into in a second, your car charging port will be a CCS, and it looks like a squashed figure of 8. So now we come on to the other type of charger, mainly on Nissan Leafs. Even brand new one, 23 plate, they still put them on there. I can't believe that, actually. I think if you're going back to older EVs, I believe the Kia Soul, the original ones, electrics, they use CHAdeMO. I do believe some of the IMEVs and their cast off originally used CHAdeMO as well. CHAdeMO is just the rapid charging socket. You will have a separate type 1 or type 2 socket that I've already talked about for your granny charging and also your fast charging. And CHAdeMO is basically a big circle with a couple of notches at the top of it, because that ensures you put it in the right way up, basically. I find CHAdeMO has been a lot more reliable than CCS, ironically, and I actually do like CHAdeMO. It won't, I think the fastest I've seen a CHAdeMO charger is 63 kilowatts. My Nissan Leaf will only go up to 50. I think the newer ones do go up to about 65 kilowatts. This day and age, that's not fast, or not that fast. But I do get, as I said before, I do still get a good speed out of a 50 kilowatt charger. I still get about 46 to 49 kilowatts, which is really good speed out of 50. It's quite warm and Toto wants to walk further, so here we go. So now we come to the actual charging bit. So for the granny charger, you'll open your car port, plug in the type 1 or type 2 socket into your car. So if that's CCS, you're just removing the top plug, leaving the bottom one in, and plugging the charger's male connector into the female socket in the car, and then you plug it into a 3-pin socket in the wall. I will just say, if you've got a timer set up on your car to charge between certain times, maybe taking advantage of cheap electric, and this only applies to granny and fast charging, you need to disable that or switch it off, because otherwise your car will not charge. That does not apply to rapid charging. Plug into the socket, a 3-pin socket in the wall, switch it on, and your car should be charging. If not, then you most probably have not disabled the timing that you might have set up, or the manufacturer might have set up on the car. Just double check it all. Now we come to fast charging, that being the wall box at home, or some of the smaller charging units out and about. These can be 7, 11, or if your car can take it, 22 kilowatts. Obviously your car will only charge at whatever charger speed it's got built into it. So once again, always plug in to open your port and plug the male plug of your lead into the female socket in the car, type 1 or type 2, and if you're using CCS, once again, you just remove the top socket cover, not the bottom one. But you can do, but there's no need to, you're not going to use the bottom one, so just remove the top socket and then plug the other end into, which will be type 2 usually, into either your wall box or indeed the public charger. If you're using a public charger, you'll most probably have to tap a credit or debit card to get it to work. If you're using Pod Point, like at Tesco's, then you'll need to go in via the app, which is a pain. But it can at least get you out of trouble. There's always one, isn't there? You might not hear it, this one's playing out really loud music. It's a sunny, bloody hot day. People got their windows open. Oh, nightmare. So plug in basically and activate. Obviously, if you're at home, then you haven't got to worry about that. You know what my socket, my fast charge socket, is actually on my economy 7, so it'll only charge up between, I think it's 12 and 4 in the morning. Here's little boy. Are you having a chill? You having a little chill pill? He's gorgeous. Shall we go? Shall we go? He's handsome. now rapid charging. Everyone has their own way they do this. First of all, the different types of I suppose you might say, service providers. The huge majority accept contactless debit or credit card. Now I've got a Santander debit card. I know, lucky me. But every 5th transaction has to be a PIN number. And that can be a pain because not all chargers have the opportunity to insert the actual card. It's just purely contactless. So it does always pay to have a second card with you that you can fall back onto. There's 2 companies that just use an app, annoyingly, and that is PodPoint, mainly found in Tesco's and some public car parks, as well as Genie Point, often found at Morrison's. If you can find one working, then you're very, very lucky, and also in some public car parks. All the rest, Shell, BP, Instavolt, Osprey, etc., take contactless cards. Osprey, which has a connection with Octopus Energy, if you are on Octopus Energy, you can get an Electroverse account card. And I found this brilliant because it also gives you a discounted rate, very, very slightly. I think it's 5%, I might be wrong. I'm sure someone will correct me if I am. And you can just tap that instead and it goes straight onto your electric bill. So as I say, everyone does have their own way that they actually do this. Some people might pay first or tap the card first and then wait for it to accept, then plug in. So this is how I do it. So switch the car off, as always. Open your charge port on your car and take the appropriate cover or covers off the charge port. Go to the charger, grab the appropriate cable and plug into your car. I will then tap my card and wait for it to, it will take a deposit usually. It's either £15 or £30, depends on the speed of the charger and also the brand of the charger. And during that process, it will make, using CHAdeMO anyway, it will make a little red light appear. You know you're halfway there. The charger will make a bleep bleep noise, and that means success basically. You are connected. It has to go through so many security, safety things for it to connect. It has to handshake with the car, as they call it. And most chargers will display the speed that you're charging at. And you can go back in, you can switch your car on. Obviously you can't move, but you can switch your car back on so you can enjoy the music, aircon. Obviously if you're using heating, aircon, etc., it will take a bit longer to charge up. Not a lot. I very often do have it switched on. I really don't notice that much difference, but if I was really short on time and trying to get the most I could, then I would not have aircon, heating, anything on. So charge it up to where you want it to be. It doesn't have to be full up every time. Common decency on public chargers, rapid chargers, is up to 80%, especially if there's people waiting. If you need to go 90 or 100%, then it is courteous and etiquette to then unplug from the rapid and plug into a slower 7 or 11 kilowatt charger and do your final 20% on that. The more antagonizing an experience I had once of someone moaning about the person before them charging up to 98%. And what did he do? He charged up to 93%. So I did have a go, because he had a go at the previous person.
And the reason for that is because as the battery fills up, it will get slower. Now, no two cars are the same. Some will go up to 90%, still charging at a very good speed, but most cars will start to slow down about 70-80%. That's why when you get to about 80%, you're not going to be charging much more, much faster. Ooh, you're sliding down. You're not going to charge much faster than you would on a 7 or 11 kilowatt connection. So that's why when you get to 80%, it's just etiquette to unplug, let someone else have a charge, and you move over to an AC connection like your one at home. Of course, you might only have to put 10-20 miles on in total, because that's all you need. Rapid chargers are not the cheapest way of charging a car, and indeed, if you only need to put in 20 miles worth of charge, only put in 20 miles worth of charge. Always allow a little bit for that extra steep hill you might have to go up or something, but it's cheaper to charge at home. Always remember that. So, sorry, that's Dottie just putting her little interjection in. You can see the other one here. He's watching the sparrows in the driveway. Cheeky little monkey, here he goes. So I hope that's helped. If there's something I've missed or something that's still not clear, please do put in the comments below, and how this may have helped you or not helped you, or your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. I can't believe I've been requested to do this, but yep, thank you very much for watching. Here we go. Don't forget to subscribe. Toto will answer all your replies personally, won't you? Won't you? You gonna reply? Yeah, of course you are, yeah. Like, share, and until next time, be good. Love one another.